because I know lots of really good people who are not religious, and I know lots of really horrible people who are always in churches and mosques. Welcome to Donu'S Week, which is about what I've been up to for the past 7 days, the people I've interacted with, the places I've been to, the things I've done and not done, and the thoughts I've had. Hi, thank God it's Friday. So let me tell you about the latest 7-day cycle in Donu'S world. Well, the past week has been really stressful overall, but it started well. Saturday was International Women's Day, so I contacted a few girlfriends I knew were going through some hard times and needed emotional support. And so they also gave me a lot of encouragement when I told them some of the challenges I face. And so those were really lovely, heartwarming conversations. And then I went to a fabulous garden party hosted by some European friends who live in Abuja. And they are excellent hosts. So the food was fantastic. The drinks were flowing. The company was excellent. And I wound up eating and drinking far too much. I must admit that I continued to overeat on Sunday, raided my fridge, had lots of different things, including some delicious fish that was brought to me by Nura, a fisherman who brings them in from a place called Lokoja, which is like a 3-hour drive from Abuja, from the river Niger. That's the river Nigeria is named after. And for those of you who are always saying that you'd like to know more about how we live in Nigeria, one of the advantages of living here is if you're lazy, almost everything can be brought to you. Okay? Now, obviously, some people like going to markets and looking at the fish themselves, or going to supermarkets or fishmongers. Well, I don't. So the fish comes to me, and Nura brings it. And the same can be said for almost everything in Nigeria. If you can't be bothered to go out shopping for clothes, a tailor or seamstress will come to your house and measure you up and, make whatever you want, whether it's a design copied from Vogue magazine or, something more traditional like what I'm wearing now. Okay, so what with all that eating on Sunday and Saturday, I wasn't surprised on Monday when I got on my bathroom scales and discovered I hadn't lost an ounce since the previous week. Actually, the real problem is that I can't, I've been avoiding the weight loss injections I promised to start taking because I'm afraid of the side effects. But, obviously, if I'm going to eat like a pig, I might as well start the damn injections because the health implications of being obese exceed the side effects of the injections. Either way, I gotta do something. But we'll talk more about that later, because on Monday, something much more important than my neurotic decision making around my weight loss plans happened. George, the brother of my personal assistant, Mariam, young man, passed away in hospital. So the office was very gloomy that day. My house. Mariam has worked for me for a long time, and she was devastated. And so that was the beginning of the really bad stuff that happened this week. On Wednesday, I basically had enough of watching the president of Nigeria mishandling a political situation in my home state. Nigeria is like the United States. We have, different states. It's a federal system. And my state is being really messed up by a minister who is fighting with the governor, and the president is siding with the minister who is fighting with the governor. And I've had enough. So I did a video called, a part of this Donu'S Week thing, Nigeria Unfiltered. It was, if you go back and look at Wednesday's output, you'll find the video there. And, that my anger and everybody, most of the people I know in Rivers State so angry about the situation. So on Friday, I decided that I was going to talk about it on national TV, not just on my own personal YouTube channel, which I did. And, honestly, the response has been overwhelming. It's so stressful fielding all those calls and reactions, even if they're almost totally positive. What this tells me is that people in this country are tired of being misgoverned by ministers or presidents or whoever who do not always have the people's best interests at heart. So that has been such a major issue. And part of the stress is some of the people who are close to me saying, you're really, really brave. This is not really a democracy. Okay? So there's this fear on the part of some of my friends and relatives that I will be physically attacked or somehow punished, maybe through withdrawal of income sources by the authorities because I've criticized the president and his very powerful partner in crime, the minister for Abuja. By the way, if you want to know more about why I have allowed myself to jump into a controversy that's putting me under pressure and maybe even putting me in danger, please go back to my last 2 Wednesday videos under the show called Nigeria Unfiltered. Okay, so that was the week that was. I'm a bit sad because, as I said, the things that are happening in my home state, very depressing. I'm a little bit nervous because I have upset some very powerful people. But, I just think that maybe I should be more prayerful. I was supposed to go to church last Sunday, but I didn't. And I know for a fact that if religion is practiced in the right way, the right frame of mind, by people who mean well, I mean, nobody is perfect, but if you mean well, essentially, you're a decent human being. I know that religion can be a source of comfort. I know that some of my own problems, psychological, emotional, etc., would probably have been better tolerated by me if I had been a regular churchgoer. I don't want to preach at the world because I know lots of really good people who are not religious, and I know lots of really horrible people who are always in churches and mosques. But I think that one of the things I ought to do at this stage in my life is to be more dependent on this whole idea of a divine being, God. I'm a Catholic, and seeking, divine guidance and humbly submitting myself more often to the rules and the spiritual guidance that the church can offer and the spiritual support. Okay, so I'd love to know what you think about religion. Is it good for mental health? Does it help you get through your week or your day? Does it make you less fearful? Does religion enhance your life, or does it play no role at all, or has it played a negative role? Because there are, of course, a lot of people who think that religion is bad. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning in.